if people really want to see something, we should definitely work with Spain on organizing a bilateral event. To that point, if Ilya knocks out the BMF champion, how is he not the BMF if he defends his title and knocks out the contender who is the BMF champion? Makes no sense. Definitely front runner in the Fights of the Year conversation. I think Ilya and DDP need to organize mutually beneficial cards and events. Dana knows to be careful. The UAE are behind proposals of a UFC Africa and Europe card. He's trying hard not to tilt the table. This is why, if he was to, he will do an open stadium event. I think we could build a closed arena really quickly with some of our partners though. So let's see. Brings me to the next point in promise and disclosure. So one of my methods and methodology and philosophy when it comes to private enterprise, personally, is sharing is caring. It's a big principle. Basically, how I think anything should be done. Most people have this twisted. It's better to have 10 powerful directors, each owning 10% of $100 million, as opposed to 100% of nothing. Definitely less, at the very least. The idea is that you should be very selective of who you include in your plans. Everyone plays a role. Yes, there are no friends in business, but one hand does wash the other. What I mean is, it's much easier to build something big and great with inclusion. You initially accept less, but continually accrue compounded dividends. We'll talk about this more as the time goes on. So, fights to make in Africa. I think the first one is DDP versus AP at middleweight. You've got pay-per-view buys, gates and attendance, cultural perspectives, opportunity to showcase BRICS agreements, and also a light heavyweight title shot at the UFC Europe, which would be a huge fight. Kamzat versus McGregor at welterweight. We've got pay-per-view buys, we have gates in attendance, the cultural perspectives, heights and promotion due to Kamzat and McGregor's social profile, a legendary press tour as well. Number one contender for lightweight and welterweight title for UFC Europe card. Then we've got Ilya Topuria versus Islam Makhachev at lightweight. High pay-per-view buys, Islam beacon of large Muslim community and the Free Palestine movement, great Byzantine Mughal storyline, heights and promotion due to social profile. Ilya's fighting style will be very loved by a new market emerging in combat sports segment. His thing up with Madrid already brings a huge new viewer base, not just to the UFC but all related merchandise. I think due to not just the passion demonstrated not only by Ilya and Islam on the subject of football, but the African and European continents, it makes sense to work together. Ilya is definitely up for fights as well as KO of the year. Islam is Islam, but I do think with what Ilya all has done this year, the pound for pound rankings is between the duo. Putting the lightweight, BMF, and pound for pound rankings up for grabs is where it's at. Now, I think both fighters need to be smart. We've seen it with Volk. We may see it with Alex, but he is too smart. Truth is, overworking sends you to the glue factory. Sure, the Dublin July and the sweepstake house want the winners to keep on winning. Why wouldn't they? What we do know, though, is the combat sports fan base is incredibly fickle, unlike our brothers who are fans of football. What I mean is this: take the example of Adesanya. If you get it wrong and as bad as he did, which is now seeing his sworn enemies stealing and then splitting his fan base, the maxim though is, if anyone loses long enough, they lose it all. Your fighter record is your rep, cred or block. You must earn, but you must also defend. Even without a belt, you cannot let your name and carcass be dragged in the streets. Real G shit. Which is why to do it, if you say it in MMA, very important. Also we go crazy for the sport. Topuria and Makhachev, everybody knows this really will do well in all our opinions. I think to be able to successfully predict and put away all opposition in such a fashion at such a high level is really overlooked.